Jayson Braddock from The Bottom Line on Sports Talk 790, 3 to 6 every Monday to Friday through one of Houston's very own, Trae Tha Truth. Man, I appreciate you taking time out to join me today. Gotta ask, man, the rap industry's changed so much over the last 2 decades. When you're out there with ABN back in the late 90s to now, how do you stay relevant and basically be able to stay in the industry for over 2 decades?
I mean, I stay doing me, and I'm somebody of substance, so it's not gonna be easy for me to fade away. And I'm one of the people that embrace a lot of people even before they even blow up, because I see different talent in them. You know what I'm saying? And I just try and be the big homie and help them. And me, music sound wise, it's like a sport. It's all competition, so you gotta be survival of the fittest. So I make it work in every aspect, man.
New CD dropped on Trae Day. First off, what does Trae Day mean to have? I know it's almost been a decade now, but it still has to be something close to your yeah. So it's still got to be something close to your heart and everything. But also with that, you talked about how you have people know me for being able to evaluate NFL talent. You have a way of evaluating talent, which you kind of mentioned when you see it in guys when they first come on the scene. Your latest CD with T Grizzly. I mean, this young man comes out and he just kind of has his own style. What did you see in him, and how did this come about? Was it more like a mutual respect?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the little bros, man, and knowing he comes from situations where they counted him out, and God blessed him with a second shot. I commend that and I stand with that, man. I never want to see cats come in the game and end up getting crashed and not having a fair shot like everybody else, man. So I embraced it. He's talented, and I'm just big bro to a lot of them, man.
Who was big bro to you coming up?
My big brother, but my older brother Dinky. That's the only reason I started rapping. He's incarcerated for a few life sentences. That was the only reason I started rapping, and other than that, I had to jump out there, me and my little brother Jayton, to be our own men, and we created our own path. And then as I got older, of course, DJ Screw and H.A. Dub K and them, them was my bros, man. And, they gave me the push not to give up.
Love always hearing the stories back in the day of DJ Screw and Hog and all those guys, Fat Pat, all those guys growing up. What's one of those stories when you first came around Screw and you kind of felt like, yeah, I'm on now?
I used to be at a studio with Rockhead Jacobs off of Ashcroft, and I remember when Screw started coming up there, and I'll never forget, when Screw tapes would come out, it wouldn't be when it got to the hood, it was no list to know what songs on there. The excitement was to hear the tape and whatever songs on there.
Oh man,
I remember
that's old school right there.
I heard my song on there. It was just like, wow, because that was off on the radio back then. There was no, we would never think about being on radio. Our thing was if you could make it on a Screw tape.
Make it on a Screw tape.
Yeah, I'll never forget, man. And that's my bro. I got a tattoo on. Right here. Say the King. There goes his face right there. Yeah.
It seems like Screw music, you're starting to hear it more nationally now, to where even if it's not the same form as Screw, where the whole track is chopped and screwed all the way through and everything.
Yeah, they sample it. Yeah.
They'll sample it, bring it in at the end and everything.
The culture definitely, it made an impact in the game, and it's going to be in the game for a long time. A lot of people, if you go really pay attention to music, a lot of the harmonizing and different stuff. I mean, it comes from Houston, period. Just the grills, the cups.
Right.
A lot of that culture comes from the state of Texas, period.
Right.
Some people give credit where credit is due. Some people act like they didn't know. So.
And it's the thing with these Houston artists, they're so proud of where they're from. You're rocking the Astros hat, the all-white Astros hat now. Obviously, we're a sports station, and bringing it back full circle now. Can you think of another time like this in Houston sports? Astros, probably one of the favorites to go to the World Series. Rockets could bring in the big three if Carmelo comes here. And then you have the Texans. If they finally solidify that quarterback position, you're talking about having 3 of the best team in all 3 of the major sports.
Yeah, and you can't forget the Houston Dynamo too.
Right there, you go.
They I actually I like the cannon for them this Saturday.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So what time is that? So y'all can check out Trae Tha Truth out there.
You need to be there. The game starts at 7. Be there by 6:30, man. I will be at the stadium with Houston Dynamo bringing them out.
Let me ask you something about an interesting dynamic in Houston sports. Obviously, on our show it's Adam Plant and myself, and we have former Houston Oiler Sean Jones, who's on the show with us. And you see people, I have the Oilers hoodie. What is it about that nostalgia? You grew up in Houston. What is it about that Oilers nostalgia that you want that Derek on everything, that old Derek?
Just the thing with us, man, we're very embracive to our culture and our family, and any two ways you see that symbol and them bright colors, it means something, man. Because you got to remember way back in the day when we had Astroworld.
Nice.
So those were the starter jackets we wear. You know, we took pride in Warren Moon and everything else, man. So
I've seen B.O.B., I've seen Bun B, I've seen Thugger, I've seen all these guys out at Texans game down there on the sideline and stuff. When's it going to be Trae Day with the Texans? We're going to get. We need a song to fire you up for the city that can go Astros, Texans, Rockets, you know, and some people in the city's done stuff in the past.
I may make that happen just because we're sitting here right now and you just brought it up. So
we need
to see that happen. Yeah.
You know, I can't let you go.
Oh, shout out to me and him haven't met each other yet. Shout out to JJ Watts. You know,
we got to make that happen.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if you're familiar with my music yet, but you know, it's all love, man. I definitely want to link up with him with some of the stuff he do. He have going in the community too. So
you got some relationships with some of the guys in the locker room. Like you got like a favorite Texans, Rocket, or Astro player.
I'm cool with all of them. Of course, Andre Johnson, my partner.
Already.
Harden's my partner. Really, just about anything and everybody who really come out and get out. Other than just the games and move around the city. Right. They Get the Truth 3, my album just came out Friday. They copped that, and that's just what it is.
And let me ask you that. On that album, you have a lot of different artists nationally. You know, you got T.I., you got Snoop, you got everything. It's gone the days of, you seem like late 90s, early 2000, you just had, it was all-stars on tracks where you got Trae and you got Bun, like everybody was just, the Houston all-stars were all thrown on the track.
I think the difference now is, since I've been banned from radio, I was outcasted. So since I was outcasted, a lot of people you see on my album are people who check on me and rock with me on the daily. So if a person don't really mess with me or support me or really stand behind me, then you probably won't ever see them on my project.
Trae Tha Truth, you can tell right there. It's all about respect, and man, with a man from Hustletown. As born that way in your DNA, right?
Yeah. Shout out 93.7 The Beat. Shout out Sports Talk, man. You know we here. Trae Tha Truth, Mr. I Am Houston, man. Mr. Key to the City now, so let's get it.
There you go. Put him on. If he's not in your CD deck and you rolling around city, then you're not holding the city down. Trae Tha Truth. Appreciate you, man.